Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect that.
As unbelievable as it sounds, this is another Arsenal podcast. That is the Away Gooners podcast. We bring news and reaction from Arsenal fans from all over the world. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Away Gooners podcast. This is the game. This is the day after the West Brom game, so we are actually flying a little bit higher than usual as Arsenal fans. Although we would talk more about it in future. This podcast though is about the preview for the Manchester City game. We've got the gang back. Arun from Vada London podcast. Hi, Arun.
Oh,
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
And Deepak. Hi.
Hello.
So before we start, I thought we would say the usual stuff that we say at the last over here, like, hi, everyone. So if you like what you're hearing, just like, subscribe and share your feedback in your comments. Thank you. So that out of the way, let's start with the game. I'll start with you, Arun, regarding the results against West Brom. So how do we compartmentalize this, right? I mean, it's a great result, but it's against West Brom, who played a second string, and we played a really stronger team. So, I mean, the intention of playing the stronger team was there for everyone to see. But how do we compartmentalize this results going into the game against Manchester City?
no compartmentalization. Just take it for what it is. It's going to give you confidence, and that's how I see the game. Like you said, we played a much stronger team against a West Brom that, like, we thought. We were talking about it in the preview. We said, like, the team is just 2-3 spots below us, so it's not really like, we sort of in the same league. But then when it came out to teams, putting out teams, it was obvious that Arteta was like keeping, like the City game in mind. Also, given the fact that there's going to be a 2-week break, so he had a run. He gave a run for all his senior players. We had Auba starting from the front. We had Pepe starting. So everyone did start, and it was good to see all these guys get some playing minutes. Like Lacazette got some playing minutes, got a score. It's in the grander scheme of things, this game is not going to be like very significant. At least that's what I'm thinking. I'm just saying this as an exercise for people to get back into form, get that confidence, and more importantly, score a goal and get that W. Actually scoring a goal and being competitive in a game is not something that we've done in a while. Even the preseason was like on and off. We did not win all our games in preseason. So this is very important in the sense that it gives a bit of confidence back to the players. It gives a bit of confidence boost to who we need to be at is scoring best if we were to be doing anything in this term, given that we do not have other strikers and we're struggling for goals. So given all that, if you ask me to compartmentalize it, I would say like it's a compartment for mental health, confidence, getting the scoring rhythm back. In that compartment, yeah, we did really well. But like you said, I wouldn't touch too much to the win. We're expected to win this one. It's a West Brom team who are in the championship. We would expect it. And even the game, the way we played, apart from like a few instances, it wasn't like champagne football all along. There were a few instances that were mainly, architected by Saka, if I could say. So all those sequences were really good. Odegaard was good. But outside of this, I would just like to see it as a confidence booster for now. And that's a much needed.
Mm-hmm. But talking about confidence boost, though, I mean, Saka, when before this game, even in our review pod, Bob, we talked about how Saka had a couple of stinkers in defensively. We were slacking a little bit on Saka about it, and we saw that he didn't have the touch. He was even in this game, when the game started, I could see that Saka was not making the passes, making the run. But as the game grew, he kind of grew into it. So, I mean, how much of this would be like both for Saka and Auba? Auba did the hat trick, but then Saka had a great game. And so how much of this would mean something for him, right? As a young player, especially.
Rather than looking at Arsenal's, I chose to look at individual performances against West Brom, and there were a lot of positives that I was able to, get back from that game. So, I mean, as you said, Auba scoring a goal, let alone be a hat trick, it was a massive boost of confidence for him. ahead of the new season, because we need him fit and firing for us to even get to at least closer to top 6, if what all that should be an ambition. And apart from that, yes, Saka was very much rusty against the game against Chelsea, which is just natural due to the fact that he came pretty late from the Euros, and then he didn't have much of a match practice before that. He was sort of getting back into his gears and form. I mean, also the fact that the opposition wasn't as much higher as a Premier League opposition, but then it's still a team, and then if they were able to put some good individual performances, I felt sort of assured with Ramsdale. It's just a matter of time before he starts knocking Leno for the first team position, and then he made a lot of few attempts in being a shot sub. In a sweeper keeper in few of these things that he'd shown, which made me some sort of an assured for the backup goalie position for now. One worrying thing, which probably I wanted to touch upon, is the fact that despite having numerous right backs at the club, they still put up a left back or a left-footed fullback in a right back position, which was sort of amusing to even think of, because we had other fit fullbacks.
He didn't start at right back. Chambers played at right back.
Yeah, that's part of the. I mean, even the commentators were saying that, and I was really surprised because I didn't see that formation. I saw that it's like just 4 at the back with what's his name?
Tavares, Kolasinac, Holding, and Chambers.
Yeah, Kolasinac was playing as LCB.
Center
That's what my eyes saw. But even the commentators were mentioning it as a back 3, which I didn't see back 3. I saw Tavares being the. Sorry?
It wasn't back 3. It was clearly back 4, and Tavares was playing LB and Chambers was RB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to touch upon one last thing, from that game, apart from the Tavares position. There's the fact that I think for once we have to give credit to Arteta. I think he studied West Brom very well to the fact that they were playing with a very high line, and then we were able to penetrate through their gaps. And I don't know, it's just the wildest of dream that I have, and Manchester City are known to be having a very high line and a high press, and then if at all we manage to do some of these breakings, then we probably have a 1% chance against them. Again, at the end of the day, it's the hope which kills us. But
this right there is what Arsenal fans are about. Right? We play.
When you mentioned he studied West Brom, I was like, "What do you mean studied? Like, why? Why?"
Wow,
interesting use of words there.
I mean, literally, I was just about to ask Deepak the same question, right? Like, as in playing Kolasinac as the left centre back. What is this obsession with Arteta with left-footed player being there for the left centre back role?
I don't know. Like, it makes easier, right? Like, if you're trying to pass it from the back.
I know, but it sounds easier. But we know that for all these years that we have watched Premier League, there has never been this much focus on a left-footed player being the left centre back and then right-footed being the right centre back. We just put our 2 best centre backs out there, or not just us, right? Even every other team like United, Rio Ferdinand and Vidic. They were not left and right centre backs, footed and everything, right?
This probably comes from his stint with Manchester City. The Guardiola always preferred a left centre back when they were playing from the back. So probably trying to follow this thing and do something with that. Yeah, but most of the team nowadays try to play from the back, and they prefer their preferred foot, and they are play out from the back, which makes it easier. Otherwise, you are stuck in a some kind of body position, and you just try to clear the ball, and that would you lose the position or something. But in our case, we lose the position anyway. So, but still,
I was actually worried a couple of times about our defense during this game, even though our attack clicked a little bit later. The defense was not good. It was really suspect, and I also felt that. I mean, we know this from a lot of scenarios even before that El Neni and Shaka doesn't work that well together, and especially defensively, it looked like. And I saw the same patterns with Shaka turning and like when there could be a forward pass, he was literally turning and making a sideways pass or a back pass. So those are my complaints for this game. Did you feel any complaints for this game, Deepak?
no, like I don't see like simply there is no sense like keeping forward passing every single time. That is like a thing which I hate when people say like, oh, he didn't pass forward, he turned back and like passed backwards. It doesn't make sense. Like you can pass forward. It doesn't like that you would like make a forward pass and we will go and score a goal. That is like a complaint which I don't accept, because like still Shaka was a best player after what Saka, because he controlled the midfield as well. So there should be some kind of control. I can understand like he can improve, but he's still our most progressive passer if you see. So that is not a problem. El Neni, yeah, he was actually good, but yeah, you cannot say like, okay, we can play with El Neni against City, but still.
Well, we can, but
we can, but we don't want to. The defense is like as usual. It was like not good. Fortunately, Kolasinac was decent in left centre back. Most of the West Brom attack came from Chambers and Holding side. Chambers like doesn't like we thought he would be our starting right back and he would be at least decent enough. But looking at the last 2-3 games, he hasn't been like a man. He has been nothing. He hasn't improved a little bit even.
But I think it is part of the reason, because I saw that his forward runs were better than his defensive positions. So maybe he's trying to improve one side and he's losing the other side of his game. I'm just speculating.
He was never good defensively as well. He is just like an average right back, which we have 4. So yeah, all of them are pretty average. So we just like hype up like when he plays 2-3 good crosses. That is not good enough for Arsenal right now. So yeah, it was expected. Like since we have no good RBs, it was expected to have a bad defensive shape on that side, which was clearly there were like 2-3 instances where they had a shot clear one-on-one shot against Ramsdale from their side. So
yeah, talking about Ramsdale.
If we do this against City, they would clearly punish us, but still they don't have a good finisher. If it is Sterling, he would also miss the chance, but still they would create like some 20-25. So,
did you hear about the rumors though? Ronaldo is being offered to City. So what if Ronaldo comes before our game?
If that is too early.
He has to be registered today, and there are still talks taking place at this moment as we speak.
Yeah, if he comes, they are winning the league. He still guarantees around 25-30 goals for sure.
But Arun, let's stick to the game a little bit, and we'll finish that off. What are your feelings about like Ramsdale and Odegaard? Odegaard is second debut, but still like they kind of made the debut. So what are your thoughts on Ramsdale? I mean, Bob seemed to be impressed a little bit. So I was not impressed at all. I was just feeling like, he's just another keeper. I didn't
really.
Feel that.
Really, I mean, like I'm not gonna say that he's like the next Manuel or Enrique Casillas, but like the dude did have a pretty good game. I mean, like.
Sorry, your reference point should be Runnerson. Please go from there.
Okay, then I don't think Vijay has a question anymore. If you keep the reference point as runners, and I think that answers everything. I think he'll have to cancel the question at that point.
Bob is in his complete Arsenal fan mode today. Runnerson being the reference point for keepers, but I didn't feel that much confident with him on the goal. I think he was really suspect, but it was first game. And he
Yeah, I
had
mean, for the first game, I felt his distribution was definitely decent, and it was clear. I saw glimpses of why the club wanted to really go for this guy. Apart from the fact that he's English and homegrown, like we didn't see a lot of shot stopping. I don't think we did, but like outside of that. He did seem to be doing well in terms of distribution and then having a command over his backline and all that. So in that sense, I think that's where we are lacking right now for this kind of play that the team wants to play. It's mainly someone who can be more assertive at the back, like a goalkeeper that knows what's happening and doesn't panic with the ball at his feet. Though the opposition was West Brom, and without like putting too much of speculation into it, I would like to say that yeah, he did have a definite a decent game. Like I liked what I saw for someone who was playing the first game in front of fans as well as at an away game. So given all that, I felt like he did well. Odegaard has always been a baller. We know that he's not going to be someone who's going to give you 20 assists a season, but like this little things that he brings in that helps the team unlock stubborn defenses through the middle rather than like having to go through the donut of sadness is going to be very effective and useful for us because without him, we always keep doing the donut all over again.
Yep.
With him, we are able to actually pass the ball through the middle a lot more. And that's what you need, like passing the ball through the middle and giving balls for Aubameyang and Saka to run through too. So with that, given that, like I think he's going to be useful for that. And I'm hoping for more and better from him.
Mm-hmm. But Deepak, there was some injury scares during the game, right? Like Saka has a little bit niggle, he limped off a little bit, and I think when Shaka was replaced too during the game, even before, I don't know if it's an injury scare or anything. Do you think Saka is all right? Because even in the previous game, right, Chelsea game, he had a limping. So and Tierney is already not sure if he's available or not. So do you see again like we are going into like we got 2 players back and we lose 2 players? Is this going to happen throughout?
No, don't say we are going to lose them already. Don't jinx it.
No, but that is
hopefully he's not injured. I would still like rest Saka for City game. I don't want to start like him like probably he can come off the bench or like around 50th 60th minute. So because anyway Odegaard is going to play as number 10, right? Most probably. So ESR, he has to fit ESR somewhere else. So probably I would start ESR in the left wing. Left wing, yes. And so I would like give Saka a rest. If he's not completely fit, let's say he's not 100% fit, why just start it against City? Just give him a rest and like let him start for Norwich.
But then again, like it's
Saka,
going to...
I don't know. He's like he has been starting for 4 seasons, like day in day out. So probably that was like just a rest, given that we were 3 or 4-0 up.
Okay, hopefully that's actually the case. I mean, I also saw something. I don't know if you guys noticed. Arteta sat with Pablo Mari in the dugout.
The whole world saw that.
Yeah, and they were having a really long conversation with something. So, Bob, do you reckon like let's jump into the Manchester City game as an expected lineup? Do you see Mari coming back into the team and Holding and Mari being the partnership, or something else?
We are not still sure on Ben White, are we? I think
no, he's out.
He's out. I think Arteta mentioned he's out.
He's out.
Okay. So if that's going to be the case, then we don't have much options as well. Kolasinac was just a trial run lineup that we did against West Brom. I don't think we would be going with that. So Mari will get the nod, and then he will be partnering Holding. And since both of them are very agile, in a very ironic way, I don't know really. It's just having to post their standing, just closer to the goal. That's probably the best thing that we could do at this point, having no backups at least in that position, or decent backups enough.
So if we put Mari and Holding over there, then left back would be Tierney if he is available, but I'm not sure if he is. Else it's going to be Tavares. But again, the big question is who's going to play right back, Bob? Do you think Callum Chambers continuing, or do you see Cedric coming back?
I probably feel Cedric would get the nod, given that he did try to attempt a few crosses in the Chelsea game. I mean, none of it was being fruitful, but hopefully with Aubameyang up front, there should be better conversion should a chance come in. So I feel Cedric would get the nod ahead of Chambers.
Mm-hmm. And continuing on, Deepak, do you want to do the midfield? Do you want to talk about who we would pick in the midfield? Xhaka is going to be a mainstay, but do you think that Elneny might be preferred?
You're not giving him a lot of options here when you talk about midfield.
No, I'm just saying, like, do you think Elneny would be starting ahead of Sambi because of this game especially?
No, Sambi should start. Like he was our best player against Chelsea, even though that wasn't like a big yardstick, but still he was our best player. So I would start Sambi there.
And Odegaard to be the number 10, or do you put ESR back?
No, I would still start Odegaard to be the number 10. ESR, I feel he moves the ball. His runs are good, but his passing is not penetrative enough. So I would still stick with Odegaard in number 10 and move ESR to a left wing. He actually plays well in left wing, ESR.
Yeah.
So he can cut in and do whatever he wants to do there. So as I said previously, I would rest Saka and move ESR to the left wing and start Odegaard at number 10. And we don't have much choice in midfield. We have just 3 fit players. So just start Sambi and Saka, the best of the 3.
But Arun, if that is the case, right? If, for example, if we start both ESR and Odegaard, then either Pepe or Saka loses out. And both of them had a pretty decent game against West Brom. And
Saka was a baller. Decent game. Saka was running the show.
No, I get it. But then I'm just saying, like, so who do you drop? Because even Pepe had a really good game against West Brom. And even against Brentford, he had a really decent game. Chelsea, again, he was decent again. So do you drop Pepe or do you drop Saka?
Considering that it's an away game, and the fact that we did not play a back 3 against Chelsea, I would assume that he is going to play a back 4. And again, given that it's an away game, I don't see why he would play 2 attacking midfielders in ESR and Odegaard. So I would like to think that only one of them is going to play. Okay. It's going to be, for me, from the mid, because if I'm going to be taking one of them out, then I would like to play. If both Saka and Pepe are available, then both of them would play. Otherwise, ESR would play. But it's going to be just one of the 2 number 10s playing. And I think Xhaka is definitely going to play in the midfield. But since it's an away game, again, something makes me think that Elneny might play with him. That was my
thought too.
Because I think, like said, he would like to basically, try and keep it safe, since being an away game, and to preserve the confidence rather than go all out. And he knows that if he goes all out, he's going to get murdered for sure. The amount of spaces that we leave open if we try going all out is unbelievable. So I think at this point he'll just try to play it safe. So I see Xhaka, Elneny, one of Odegaard and ESR playing, and Saka, Pepe, our man.
Even if we don't go all out, we will be murdered. They will just simply pass around us.
Well, I know, but there's a difference between getting 6-0 bageled and 3-0 bageled, right? The confidence.
There is one thing, though, I am pretty sure that we will never be beaten 6-0 or 5-0. I mean, not to jinx it.
We've been breaking all the records, 100-year-old records. So don't say anything with this team. Anything is possible.
But
I've got a slightly different take there on the midfield. So I feel probably that Saka will play on the right, and then ESR onto the left with Odegaard in the center. And then probably, if at all there needs to be a substitution, then I probably would feel Saka would be moving to the other flank onto the left for Pepe to come onto the right should a substitution arise. That's what I feel. That would actually give some mobility in the team, and then that would possibly throw some surprise to the opposition in terms of the gameplay, switching players in between. But yeah, I think it's just my imagination purely.
So that brings me to another question, right? How much of it is surprising that we never seem to have a set starting 11, right? It's with Arteta, you can never predict who's going to play. Not even Arsenal fans who are watching day in and day out. For me, that's a real sticker. I mean, I kind of see the reasons in some of the cases, like because of injuries, his hands getting forced a little bit. But again, we cannot nail even, like, apart from Aubameyang, we cannot nail, and Leno, we cannot nail even one position who's going to play where, right? I mean, maybe Xhaka.
If you are winning, you would stick to the 11. But if it is not happening, you tend to like chop and change.
But every single game,
it's not happening. Like he said, nothing's happening, and that's why we're chopping and changing.
Right now, you can say we would like probably stick with a starting 11, but we have like, let's say, 2 good players at number 10 position right now. So probably that would come as a factor when like he wants to change something. But even if he chops and changes the team, you see, we play the same way. That is the main thing, right? It doesn't matter about the personal. If he just changes the personal, but the system remains the same, the donut of sadness or whatever it is. If he wants to change something, it has to be the system. That I don't see anywhere happening. So chopping and changing doesn't make much of a difference.
Okay. We did enough of Arteta during the last episode, so we shouldn't go there. But Bob, let me hold you a little bit over there for the quick, danger men predictions. Like, who do you see? Because I think Kevin De Bruyne is injured or is unavailable for City. So who do you see as the danger men from City and from us?
In terms of the danger men from City, any 11 that say Pep puts on the team sheet is all danger men for us. Ideally, we wouldn't want anyone to be on the field for us to perform without any handbrakes. Unfortunately, I can't single out anyone. Everyone are deadly enough. I mean, even their third string 11 is still too much for us to handle at this point. So that's how it goes. In terms of who could potentially make a difference, yeah, Auba definitely. I think with the recent goals, I probably feel that would be a springboard for him to go on to score more goals. So Auba would be a threat from our end, and so would be Odegaard should we start against the game. So they're the ones who could potentially unlock some of these passes and then could make a difference and hurt the opposition.
Mm-hmm. Okay. As Bob was mentioning, right? Everyone from City 11 could be a danger man. But again, Deepak, who would be our important player apart from Aubameyang for scoring, if at all we get to score?
I would still say Leno, because City would create like a gilt edge of chances of around 20-25 chances. So I would still feel Leno would be our most important player if we want to keep the goals conceded down to at least 2 or 3. So I would
not even talking about like 1 or clean sheet. No,
I don't expect clean sheet. I expected us to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea, but definitely not against City. You see how they play, right? They literally create 20. If they had a good striker, they would be easily scoring, I would say 120, 150 goals a season. They could easily do that. But yeah, given the amount of chances Sterling and Jesus and every others miss, they still score 100 goals every season. So yeah, so that is the only hope. Those two will be starting, and they would miss chances. Probably it would end up with 2-0 or 3-0. But Leno would be the best player.
Best or most important player?
Sorry, not best player.
Busiest,
Most
sure.
important player. Yes.
Arun, do you want to add something? Because I think we are running out of things to talk about.
Xhaka, most important player for me for the game would be Xhaka.
Okay.
For him not to do any stupidity.
Yes, exactly. That's the reason why. Because everything is going. He has to control the midfield, and one mistake from him, which he's capable of every half an hour, is going to prove very costly. So yeah, he's going to be the most important player.
So we will have the usual stats section from Bob now. Bob, do you have any stats for us?
All right. Okay. So, I mean, we don't have much hopes in terms of the game, right? And the stats as well doesn't help us in any way. As you all probably know, we lost the last game that we played against them at the Emirates to a 1-0 scoreline in which Sterling scored. We lost the last game that we played at Etihad with the similar scoreline, 1-0, with the same scorer, Sterling, who actually scored the same goal. City has won the last 3 games against Arsenal so far.
Only 3?
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 games that they have played against us, and they have just lost once in those last 14 games that they've played. So we'll have to guess, we emulate that one loss that they had. That was potentially in the FA Cup semi-final in 2020, where we defeated them 2-0.
We also won but also we won against them in like 2016 or something, right? When Santi.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so this is just stretching to the last 14 games that we played them. There's not been any draws at all in the last 11 games, and most worrying stat is the fact that they've scored a goal in their last 35 games at Etihad. Yeah, so be it anyone that they put up front, you could expect them to score. Even if it's going to be Ederson up front in the number 11 position, you could expect him to score at any point in time. Sterling has been, the player who's done the most damage to Arsenal in terms of what he's done. So they're, in terms of the stats for Arsenal, they've, as you probably know, we've made the worst start in the Premier League history, where we've lost the opening 2 games and have not scored a goal, more importantly. It's as well note that, if at all we lose the next game against City, then which means that this record stretches back to 1954-55 season, where we have lost the first 3 games of the opening fixtures. During that year, we finished 9th in the table, so which is still not too bad as compared to what we finished last year. It's as well worth noting that against West Brom was the first time since September 2020 that both Lacazette and Oba scored in the same game.
Oh, really? Wow, yes. That's a very
yeah, so no, none of us would have really guessed that as such, because there's been such a drought, and more importantly, they've not been having scored so much goals in the past together in the same game, possibly, and having not scored a goal, in the same game. That was quite revealing as well. And the game against West Brom on Wednesday, that was the first time that Arsenal are under Arteta has managed to score more than 5 goals in a game. And I mean, just to take into perspective, Manchester City easily brushed off Norwich 5-0 against against Norwich at home.
We are not competing against City for scoring or for anything. There is no way we could do anything to City. City are like in a different league, and sadly,
one final stat to say, Arsenal have actually lost their last 6 games against the reigning Premier League champions, exactly conceding 3 goals apiece.
Oh, so
in the last 5, that was.
Damn. Everything's against Arsenal. But anyways, thanks so much for that start, Corner. But let's continue on a little bit about transfers. Do you see any new news out there, rumors? We are still like 3 days out. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's still some time left, and then there's been a lot of news getting traction. As we all last touched upon, Pereira has now completed his medical and has signed for Fiorentina, which has been done and dusted. And then the next thing, which is sort of progressing as well, is the fact that Pelayan to Corinthians. What needs to be decided upon is the fact that if Arsenal step in to actually subsidize some of these player wages for Willian, or would Willian himself take down a cut down fee to join Corinthians in a reduced fee sort of a thing. So that's what is being ironed out at this moment. In terms of Kolasinac to Fenerbahce, there's been some news reports to it, but nothing has been confirmed so far. There's not been any concrete links, which makes the deal look imminent so far. Apart from that, there is other one interesting things with the real financial mess that Lyon are in at the moment. They've been offering Hosem OR everywhere around Europe, and there's not been much takers. Tottenham were once offered, and they've been really thinking on it as such. But that could change, in my opinion, because there's been an interest from Watford for Musa Sissoko, and if should that materialize, they might want to take over from Lyon. But as of this morning, I read that he is as well been offered to Arsenal on a loan plus obligation to buy. And I'm not sure what's the response from Arsenal so far. So that's been one of the things which is being spoken about in the media. And finally, on the last thing regarding the strikers, there's been an interest, renewed interest, I have to say, from Crystal Palace for Eddie Nketiah for £11.5 million. But I'm not sure how that's going to progress, considering the fact that he's just returning back from injury. Yeah. Regarding Lacazette, as we all know, he is again entering into the final year of his contract, and there's been talks that should the move for Ronaldo to Manchester City progress through, there might be a chance where Juventus would want to replace Ronaldo with possibly Mauricio Icardi from PSG. And as a backup option, they've as well thought of Lacazette to replace Ronaldo at Juventus. So that's again one of those moves which could potentially materialize during the last stages of the transfer window. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it in terms of the outgoings and incomings so far. There's not been any concrete interest apart from that.
Probably we'll hear more about it after the City game, because there will be like last day dash, I guess. For some of the players. I mean, we don't have a lot of players to buy, or we don't have a lot of players to sell, which is going to be like a dash kind of scenario. So hopefully.
Yeah. So I've as well read that should a move for Ronaldo happen to City, then it means that Sterling would want to move out. I'm not sure who would be the takers, considering his price tag and all those sort of things, but. As we know, we've been linked with Sterling in the past. I'm not saying this could happen. There's not enough information, or there's no enough substance for us to believe that such a thing would happen. But it's just that Sterling could be on the move, is what I read.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll see. We'll see in a couple of days what's gonna transpire. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for that. Transfers. So I think I think we would like to keep the negativity for the City game under control. So I think we'll just stop it here, and we'll do the predictions later. But before that, I don't know, Bob, if you saw the article or if you listened to the podcast of Ornstein with Jack Wilshere. I mean, it's very sad to see the state of what has happened to one of our brightest spark. Nowadays people will be talking about Jack Grealish and like whatnot and English and like this kind of young players coming up, but all this started, or at least with Arsenal, we saw the potential with Jack Wilshere when he was 16 and 18, and we had so much hopes for him. And as he mentioned in this, like 27, 28, it's supposed to be his years, and right from 26 is supposed to be when a midfielder becomes his best version of himself. And to see the state of him, what are your thoughts on it? Did you listen to it?
I did definitely listen to it, and I had to admit that I shed a tear or two having listened to it. I mean, my heart was bleeding literally the day that Jack Wilshere left Arsenal, and even to this day, I really regret one of those, as you know, the worst decision the club has actually taken against. I mean, he is your club legend, and having let him go, be it anywhere, is not acceptable. You should have at least proved or gone an extra mile in trying to convince him to stay. And then, I mean, he pretty much summed up the sentiments as well, that he shouldn't have left Arsenal in the first place, which was quite right from both our point of views. But yeah, I think right since Onstein posted that in Twitter, there were a lot of people who responded back, in particular about some of these Haaland graduates like Willock and then Isaac Hayden, and even Declan Rice, who's now considered as one of the top midfielders in England right now. He came on to say what a player Jack has been, even a better person that he has been as well. Shows the greatness of what Jack has been doing. I mean, injuries has been really unfortunate. If at all I could make a plea, or we could together make a plea as part of this pod, we would want Jack Wilshere to be back, considering that our current midfield is anyway shit. So, I mean, only thing, if we show glimpses of what he can or what he has done in the past, then it could only make it look better. And since he is being a homegrown, you don't need to, allocate him under any quota. So just have to register, under our club. So that's all I would say. I don't want to go further into it. It's going to make me sentimental for sure.
Arun, I mean, I had the same feelings as Bob too, and I was thinking of the same thing, that if not for anything, let's just sign him. Right? We have spent so much money on players like Ozil to buy out Willian. Like looks like that's what we are going to do, and all these things. It's not going to be a big deal about the money side of it if we are going to sign Jack Wilshere. And listening to him talk about how his kids were asking him what is he training for, and the way it was really heavy to hear the whole thing and to read the whole thing. What are your thoughts on Jack? Because I mean, as we started watching Arsenal, or as we were watching it with a higher sense of expectation than now we are seeing like City game, yeah, we are writing it off. But when Jack was playing, it was not such a case. We were still there and abouts when he was at the top of his powers. We went to Barcelona, that's, everyone brings that up, how he was considered one of the brightest talent of all time. So what are your thoughts on that?
Jack Wilshere is and always will be special and significant, primarily because during the Wenger era, he was actually the first graduate from Haaland Academy who actually did well at the world stage. If you think about it, Fabregas was not from the academy. He came to us at 16. He was already a part of Barcelona, and he did play well for us. But can you really think of someone from the academy before Jack who came and did so well? No. So he was like a part of the Wenger project that was supposed to be the future, So he'll always be special. That one season that he had at 16, which ultimately proved to be his greatest, sadly, his greatest memories, our greatest memories of him in an Arsenal shirt, as well as his undoing because of the amount of games that he played. uh, I believe that that's partly honest. We could have managed him better. We could have played him. That 16, he was playing close to 50 games uh, a season because of the lack of personnel, and that ended. Your body at that age can only take so more, so much. So it showed with Rooney. Rooney at 16 was like raw and world beating, but that ultimately made him retire from football around 30, 31 at the top level. If had we continued what we did, that could have happened to Jack, but sadly his body could not even take as much. It had to stop at some point. He is his I wouldn't say regression due to his playing ability, but regression due to how much his body could take meant that he could not play at the highest level anymore, and he would kept going below, down one below, which has come to this situation now where he's not having a club, which is really sad for me as an Arsenal fan and someone who really liked him when he started, was giving him full support. It's really sad for me to see. I didn't read I didn't see the listen to the podcast, but I did read like glimpses of that interview. But yeah, I mean, it's really sad, but I do not know if bringing him with us as a player and paying him, he's not going to play for free, is going to like improve anything for him anymore. I am not sure if he'd be able to play football at the highest level anymore. When you're coming back from injuries like this and all your loan spells have been bad, as much as I would like to see him, like the sentiment, the emotion and all that, I think unfortunately playing at the Premier League is going to be too much for him now with the pace and his abilities and not abilities, the injury record. So if you ask me if I would like to give him a chance at Arsenal again, no. I would like to wish him the best, maybe at a lower league. But if he could possibly come in as someone at the technical department that could help the club move forward, I would love to take him in that position.
Mm-hmm. Deepak, any thoughts on that? Because for me, right, when I see even like any of the England players being hyped up, I kind of compare it with what Jack was, right? Like when he was 16, when he was 18. I keep comparing to, and then I'm thinking like, oh, you kids don't know what actually is a baller for England would look like, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how my memory of Jack is. And right now, like all of us have mentioned, right, to see him without a club, that's the worst thing that could happen to a player. And I don't know if you have read the whole transcripts.
Yeah, I did. I did like that. The interview was like incredibly raw. I think it takes a lot of guts from him to like give out an interview like that. So probably I would say like not having a club is not something which we can blame the other clubs not trying to sign him. It is also down to him. I think he has like a incredibly like a stupid agent who cannot find a proper club for him. He can easily like sign for a like a championship club. If I don't know what is the reason behind like no club wants him, because he says he has been fit for like what, a year and a half. Probably it is down to his agent. If he had a good agent like someone like William who got like 200 and 250 per like week, Jack can definitely find a club who can use his services, and probably he can reduce his wages and play for it. I would love for him to play for Arsenal, but yeah, probably it is sentimental, as like Arun said. I usually like always see at this Barcelona game every month, and when you see the highlights, you clearly see it was him who like paused that game. So it is always like that sentimental factor. So yeah, if he probably changes his agent, and he would definitely get a good club. So hopefully he finds a new club, and I would love to see him play at Arsenal. That is definitely a given.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, given we have El Neni and like some other shit, we can also play like him. Why not?
Yeah. So, anyways, let's stop the discussion about Jack right there, because I think like we would go on for hours if we are talking about the past. So let's round this up a little bit quicker. So, do you guys want to do a predictions for the Manchester City game? Bob, do you want to do a prediction for the City game?
If I have a choice, I wouldn't.
So what if you don't have a choice?
Okay. 3-0 win to City.
Wow. Okay. Arun, do you want to go next?
2-0 for City. I'm assuming that he's going to be decent and just score. Let them score two goals and stop right with that.
Deepak, come on.
I am 2-0.
No one.
I would be happy if we score a goal, but I don't see that happening.
So I'm going to be the only one who is going to predict that we are going to score a goal. I think we are going to score a goal, but again, City will win it.
You're a very gutsy guy.
I think Auba will continue his form. He always does that in pairs. So I think, like, for me, I would go for a 2-1 victory to City again. So I mean, none of us are going to predict a victory for Arsenal, but yeah, I am going to be the most positive with at least Arsenal scoring a goal.
Yeah,
Anyways.
we'll be happy if we score a goal. Yeah. I cannot imagine we having like 0 points and 0 goals scored after 3 games.
All right, don't go there yet. Okay, we'll talk about it in the review for the game. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for joining in today. It has been really nice talking to you all, as always. Thanks. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.